Hi everyone. Very good evening, all of you. How are you doing? I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to our MAHCET session today. I was sitting and doing some work in my office, and suddenly I got a message from the CET cell of Maharashtra, and they said that CET Maharashtra is just around the corner, and therefore you should write a mock. They're having live mocks on the practice mocks on the CET cell website. So if you haven't written the CET mock, you should definitely do that. And if you are seriously preparing, I hope you've been following our sessions on MHCET at Career Launcher, this YouTube channel where we are covering a lot of topics. Okay. My name is Abhilasha, and of course, I will take you through a couple of reading comprehension passages today. Both these passages are patterned on CET Maharashtra, and therefore they will be very, very helpful. Of course, we know that the pattern is slightly different from the other exams because there are 5 options in this exam rather than 4. So that's the only difference, but that is a very significant difference because that means now the accuracy has to be much, much higher. Also, CT Maharashtra, the reasoning section is very heavy. There is a lot of critical reasoning, analytical reasoning, and if you're really strong at reasoning, then you will do very, very well. All right, I'm going to be taking you through a reading comprehension. But before I take you through the reading comprehension, guys, I hope you're able to see me and hear me. I assume that you are able to see me and hear me. Yeah. So quickly do a sound and visibility check. If I am visible and I am audible, can you give me a yes or a no in the chat box quickly so that I know I'm visible and audible? I'll also try and put myself uh, on YouTube. Okay. All right, I'm able to hear myself, so I am visible and audible. Wonderful, we've taken care of that. Number 2, if you've already joined in, can you quickly like the session and share it with your friends and family and others, your groups that you are part of, so that others can also take advantage. I hope you've also subscribed to the channel. Why? Because if you have not subscribed, you'll not be able to participate in the chat, right? So please make sure that you've subscribed, that you've liked, and you've shared the session. And that's how we'll get started, right, guys? All right, I haven't got any comment in the chat box. Quickly give me some comments so I know you're there. All right, let's get started. We are going to be waiting for another 30 seconds and then start with the passage. Today, of course, I'm covering two RCs. So there are two passages that we will cover. Each of the passage um, has 5 questions of reading comprehension. So that means a total of 10 questions. We will cover this over a period of 30 minutes. Let's try and see what your score is at the end of this 30 minutes. Okay. All right. Let's get started, everyone. Here we are. This is our first passage. Let's read and then we will try and solve it together. It is 3 parts. Okay. And then, of course, there will be the questions. So here's your first part. Let's read this. I'll give you about 1.5 minutes to read this, then to the next one, and then to the next one. Okay, here we go. Read, please. So, if we have to read this part of the passage, the first part of the paragraph says that one of the most urgent tasks of our day is to think in a new way about how the politics or polities that are democracies or that want to be democracies, how can they accommodate diversity? Now, this need to think anew or to have refreshed wisdom is because the political realities of the modern world and the political wisdom are very different. Now, the political wisdom, or what we used to think of politics, was that every country has to have one homogeneous belief. It should be one homogeneous nation. So, every state should be a nation and every nation should be a state, but the reality is that states are not like that. Every state has a lot of diversity, and they've not been created because one set of people wanted to actualize themselves. States or nations today have been created because somebody decided that this is going to be my country. So there were rulers. They imposed themselves on a place and they created it. And there were other countries that supported that. So, a nation state today, which did not have some help in constructing it, is impossible to believe also, or to conceive. All right, here's your second one. Continue reading, please. All right, let's take a look at this one. So here we are. This part of the passage says that the authors of this paragraph, of this monograph, suggest that there should be an alternative category of state nation. The nation state, now state nation. State nation becomes an overarching umbrella concept. Now, in this, what Ram Manohar Lohia, Ravinder Kumar have also advanced this idea. So it's not a new idea. What they're saying is that when you have a state nation, you have many different types of culturally diverse ideas put together, right? And the state nation and the nation states are working states. But if you want to be a viable state nation, the people have to identify with it. They should be comfortable with these multiple but complementary identities. They should have a lot of trust in the state's institution. They must have a positive degree of support for democracy also. So, two ideas now that have come by. One was this nation state. Now we are saying state nation could be working. State nation would be culturally heterogeneous identity. All right, let's read the third part of the passage. Okay, guys, have you read it? All right. So this is that there is a comparison between the states that are countries that are closer to nation state and the state notion, and then in that case you realize that the state nation pole people actually have higher degree of trust. India is an example of this. So when you create a nation state, you have to have one significant identity. But when you create a state nation, then you have more than one identity. So and in that case the identities come together organically. Nobody has to force it. When you force it, then the country will start to fall apart, just like Yugoslavia or the erstwhile USSR. So states can be multinational societies but cannot be multinational states. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the questions. Here's question number one. Okay, which of the following is least likely to be the opinion of the author about nation states? Least likely. Okay, so take a minute, read, and then tell me what the correct answer will be. All right, you can give me your answers. Okay, let's take a look at this. The first one says nation states are generally created as an effect of some outside force of influence. Okay, this is something that the author would agree with. Okay, creation of nation states become far easier in the presence of a single socio-cultural identity, as in the case of Japan. So, author will agree. Nation states are less efficient in managing complexities arising due to vast regional, religious, and cultural difference. Again, author will agree. Certain states that were previously nation states have converted to state nations to ensure better trust. Where did this happen? Nowhere in the passage do we get this. Nation states have at least one similarity with state nations. Yes, they did. The passage has said that they have something in common also. So both nation states and state nations have to be working states. That was something that was given in the passage. So author would agree with this. So the one that would be the least likely to be the opinion of the author will be option number 4, and that would be your correct answer. 1, 2, 3, and 5 are something that is the opinion of the author, and so not the correct answer. All right, yes, the correct answer. Option number 4. All right, the purpose of the passage is, why has the author written this passage? Take a look, tell me. Is it to show that nation states arise out of state nations? Is it to show, so not this, huh? Is it to think afresh about how polities that aspire to be democracies are able to accommodate diversities? Right? In the first line of the paragraph, first line of the passage, he has mentioned this. So this can be a good choice. To bring forward the author's opinion about nation states and their pitfalls, but it was not about the pitfalls, huh, mind you. It was about the state nations also. So therefore, not 3. Justify with valid examples the successful cases of state, but he did not justify. So therefore, not 4. To prove that a nation state without a prior state helping construct it is conceivable. This is false because the author said it is inconceivable today. So therefore, correct answer will be option number 2. All right, let's look at the third question. That's the correct answer. What is a state as per a passage? Is it a nation? Is it a culture? Is it, what is it? Is it a political boundary? Is it an undemocratic entity? None of these. What is a state? A state, we don't know. It is not a nation. It could have a nation. It could not have a nation. It's not one culture. It will have many cultures. A political boundary, no. And it has to be democratic. So answer will be 5. None of these. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. The third paragraph of the passage contains the statement, while the promotion of the category diverse modern democracies. What is the category that we are talking about? Let's go back to the third paragraph and we'll check. This is the third paragraph, huh? I think. Okay. Suggest an alternative category. While the promotion of the category, what is this category? We understood it is the state nation. Correct? Hmm. So clearly it has to be state nation. We've understood this. So it cannot be one, it has to be two, not three, not four, not five. Very clearly, category was state nation. Okay. Very much from the passage. Interestingly, look at this type of question. This is a very factual question. You could have just gone to the passage, searched for the word, and then looked for the context. This is how what we did. India is an example of which nation state, state nation, civilization state, multinational society, or is it a monarchy? Okay, that's an interesting question. So we'll quickly take a look at the passage again because India is a case in point. See, what are we talking about? We are talking about the state nation, right? And the given India as an example of that. So therefore, we'll just look for state nation and then mark that as an answer. Yes, India is an example of state nation. It is mentioned very clearly in the passage, not nation state, not civilization state, not multinational society, not monarchy. So correct answer will be state nation that was mentioned in the passage. Okay. All right. I hope you've been able to understand. You can give me your scores for this set as to what you have got 1 to 5, whatever your score is. I'll take you to the second passage. Okay. Correct answer is 2. All right. Here is the passage. It is 2 parts. So we'll read this and then I'll give you 2 minutes on each page. Okay. All right. Let's get started. Right. So this is a very interesting story. So Michael Foot was always referring to Daily Mail as the Forgers Gazette. Why? Because they say apparently that this newspaper has had printed a letter called the Genevieve letter, and this letter was apparently saying that the communists are trying to influence British foreign policy through the Labour Party, and this became a major issue, and the Labour government fell. Now this bad image has hung around the Daily Mail, and it went on and got worse when the paper started supporting the fascist black shirts and then started appeasing Hitler. Now, a year later, one 16-year-old boy was traveling across Europe to escape the Germans and to come back to England. A couple of years later, he was a Royal Naval volunteer uh, fighting on behalf of England. Now, the climax came at the D-Day landing in June 1944 when the Allies began the liberation of Western Europe. Okay, all right. We'll read the rest. I'm going to mute myself. You read the rest. All right. So this part of the passage talks about Miliband, who stayed in Britain even after the war, became a student, then a teacher at LSE. Then the author of the paragraph met Miliband, Ralph Miliband, just once he had come out of the navy, and the author had gone in. They met at the house of a lady, American woman, who had a lot of students of LSE and other people also. There was somebody who was a survivor of a concentration camp, some US bomber pilot, some other people also. But the most sparkling figure in these people was Ralph. He was very knowledgeable, he was strong opinions, very strong command of language. He was very tall and good looking also. Okay, so that's your passage. All right, here are your questions. Let's take a minute, read it, and try and identify which of the following statements cannot be inferred from the passage. Okay, so you take a look and tell me which one cannot be inferred from the passage. That Ralph Miliband was blessed with good looks can be inferred, so cannot be my answer. He did not return to his native country. Yes, he stayed in England, so therefore cannot be my answer. The Royal Navy was an English contingent. Yes, of course, can be inferred, so cannot be my answer. Publishing the Genevieve letter had brought a bad repute to the Daily Mail. Yes, can be inferred and therefore cannot be my answer. The farmer who saved Nan Miliband had refused to take Ralph in. We don't know. So this is the one that will be your answer. Right? Option number 5. Yes. Oh my god, what a long answer. Okay, which of the following statements is true as per the passage? Again, read and tell me which of these is true as per the passage. I'm waiting for any answers from any of you. So the author first met Ralph at a kitchen table where all the members were from LSE. I don't know because it says all the members, but we don't know if all of them because Nan Miliband was also there. So therefore not one. Daily Mail has been questionable ever since it's published. Yes, true, should be my answer. Oswald Mosley's fascist black shirts were the leading cause for the demise of Daily Mail. No, we don't know. He was an active member of the Labour Party. We don't know. Author knew Ralph right from his childhood. No. So correct answer will be 2. Okay. Yes. All right. Let's look at the next one. Which of the following statements cannot be inferred about Ralph Miliband as a from the passage? Okay. So let's take a look. So he escaped from Belgium as a teenager. True. Can be inferred. So not my answer. He first met the author when the latter had just joined the Navy. Yes, can be inferred. Cannot be my answer. Brilliance and charisma were two of his many personality traits. Actually, how do I infer this? I don't know. I mean, I can infer this, yeah, because, oh, yes, they can be inferred because the last part of the passage did mention it. So, cannot be my answer. He became a British citizen. I don't know if he became a British citizen after reaching Britain. So cannot be inferred, so should be my answer. He was not short. Yeah, he was tall. So therefore inferred and cannot be my answer. So my best answer is going to be option number 4. All right, the next one. The author talks about the appeasement of Hitler at Munich in 1938 in order to talk about what he has spoken about, how the Daily Mail continued to be, you know, continued its disreputation because of the fascist blacksmiths, and because they were also appeasing Hitler. So therefore, it indicate Nazi influence? No. Provide an example of various issues that got published? No. Give a background for the war? No. Cite an incident which further dented the already tarnished reputation? Yes. Show his sympathies for Hitler? No. Correct answer will be 4, because if you go back to the passage also, he said that the transit smell had hung around the Daily Mail ever since, and it got worse. It got worse when the paper became a supporter of Oswald Mosley and then went on to back the appeasement. So it says very clearly, right? So therefore, C is the correct answer. Sorry, 4 is the correct answer. Okay. All right, let's look at the last option. Why is Genevieve's letter termed as notorious? Oh my goodness. Why do we mention it as notorious? What is the thing with the Genevieve letter? The publication of the letter helped the Russians bring down the Labour Party. Did they bring down the Labour Party? And did it help the Russians bring it down? Is that why it was notorious? No. It was published by Daily Mail without Genevieve's permission. Oh, we don't know this. Letter was the result of a secret collab whose purpose was to sour relations between the communist Russia and Britain. Yes, sort of. No. The letter was published in the Daily Mail before it was proved to be fake and led to the downfall of the magazine. Yes. So, sort of good choice. Letter was published with the hope that it would destroy the lives of hundreds of people. No, it was not. So before it could be proved to be a fake or to be genuine, they published it, and because they published it, so there was a problem. Okay, all right. Or should we check once more? Huh? I have a doubt about this answer, so I'll check. Let me check. Okay, so the idea was that it was trying to, the Communist International in Moscow was trying to influence British foreign policy through the Labour Party. And okay, let's quickly take a look. No, the letter option 1 is not correct. Option 2 is also not correct. Option 3 or 4. I think option 3 is a better choice, guys. I'll tell you why it is a better choice, because it did not lead to the demise or downfall of the magazine, because it continued. So the problem is that the downfall of the magazine did not happen. Okay. So when they said that this letter has been written and the Communist Party in Russia is trying to bring down the government, the idea would be that the relationship would break. So 3 is a better choice than 4. So we'll go with 3 as our answer and not 4 as our answer. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes. All right, that brings me to the end of this session, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. If you have any doubts, any questions, ask away. I hope you're working on your vocabulary. That's very important. I hope you're revising your grammar. MAHCET has a lot of grammar also. And as well that you're practicing your reasoning also. Okay, a lot of reasoning questions are part of your exam. Therefore, please make sure that you're practicing your reasoning also. All right, that brings me to the end of this session, guys. Thank you so much. Do remember to subscribe, like, and share the session, because, of course, without your subscription, likes, and subscribes, we won't have this beautiful life that we have. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Adios, my amigos. I will see you soon. Bye bye.